Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We'll wait 2-3 minutes and then we'll start. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can I give prelims after final exam scheduled in April? Am I eligible? Yes, you can, subject to the fact that by the time your mains examination happens, you should have your result that you've passed it. That is the precondition. You can give the examination last year of your examination, but you have to pass before DAF form is filled. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You will conduct classes regularly means what, Sahil? In what context are you talking about? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I think after I think on 12th 23, my ends morning ends with the ancient and medieval and art and culture. Evening will end with regards to modern India. And in evening from 13th, I think I start evening batch, what we call as art and culture, ancient medieval art and culture. I'm not sure weekend what your subject is. I'm not sure. No, Jaswant. That is what he did. I'll talk about that. Don't worry. So I'm not sure which world history you're talking about. Morning batch will be a different subject. It's not me. As of right now, I don't know that. What I know, I'm telling you. I think weakened internal security. Tina is saying internal security. No issues, Justin. This has nothing to do with what we did last. Morning economics. Okay. Please don't post in Sonam. Don't post in doubt section. Write it in the chat section only. Yes, there are classes for CSAT also. Look at your year. There would be something called year-long calendar in your dashboard. I don't know where it is, but it is somewhere, and you will find the subjects which are there for internal security and CSAT are combined. So if you've done internal security, then you'll be doing CSAT. If you've done CSAT, then you'll be doing internal security. Timetable, you have to check it under timetable, as one of you is telling me. I wait 1 more minute and then we start. Tina send it only. So you can see what is next. Evening batch timing is 5 to 8:30 p.m. Morning batch is 6 to 9:30 p.m. and you are 10 to 8, 12 to 8. Exact same number of hours taken in throughout the week. Parsham, we don't know right now. Most probably doesn't have, or it will be around it. But yes, election years, the date can change. Let's see. Okay. So we start a very important module, which is the new phase of Indian nationalism. We've gone through moderates, we've gone through extremists. Now we have to go into the Gandhian phase. And the following timeline is what we are going to cover. So every new module, there's a timeline for it, so you know what you are doing, what we are doing generally. So it starts with 1869. Then you have 1876, 1888. Thereafter, from 1888, 1891, 1893, 1896. Sometimes it is written in 1894 also, either way. Then 1906, 1915, 1917, 1918. And each of these has a very important significance. This is birth of Gandhi, Porbandar in Gujarat. Then schooling starts in Rajkot. Thereafter, 1888, he will go to London to study for law. Thereafter, completes his law degree in London, goes to South Africa when invited by Dada Abdullah. Thereafter, moderate phase of Gandhi Satyagraha phase. And here you have 3 acts. There are 4 acts. Rest in Peace Mahatma, RIPM. Registration Act. Immigration Act. Poll Tax. And Marriage Act. And thereafter, 9th January 1915, comes back to India, which is Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. This is Champaran, this is Kheda and Ahmedabad. This is basically the timeline we have to cover. These are called as early interventions. First Champaran, then Kheda, then Ahmedabad. 1917, 1918. This is what we have to cover. We have to understand what is Satyagraha. We have to understand what is Satyagraha. We also have to understand what is his moderate phase and what is the influences on Gandhi. So this is basically the agenda for the first or the next 3 hours. We have to go through this. Now, if we are clear about the timeline, basic things, I would like to start with his early life. Yes? Okay. Can we start? Yes or no? Okay. Now, let's talk about early life of Gandhi. Between 1869 and 1888, he's in India. Gandhi is from a very good family. Yeah, his father was a diwan of the princely state which rules Porbandar. Comes from a very good family generally. At a very early age, started to go to the school. And Gandhi has 2, 3 very interesting influences when he's in India itself. He comes from a merchant community, and the community which he's associated with was always known for resistance to injustice, known for the concept of injustice, known for negotiations, and it's a community which had fought for its rights. So the first influence is that he's already coming from a community which is known to fight for its right, be it the princely state or generally. They are an adamant community, but they're a very closely knit community. Second is his mother, Putli Bai. She is coming from the Vaishnavite community, or she followed the Vaishnavite community of Gujarat. And she's known, or this Vaishnavite community is known for self-suffering as a form of purification and devotion. And they have a very long tradition of fasting. So Gandhi's obsession with fasting, which you will see later, actually comes out of his mother, because they were known to be of this community in which fasting was considered something very important. So even before Gandhi left in 1888, before he leaves in 1888 for London, Gandhi has certain traits. Gandhi has a spirit as a spirit to fight against injustice. And second, he is known for fasting and self-suffering, acceptable to him. Now, when Gandhi chooses to, and his family wanted him to take up his father's position as Diwan later, when he chooses to go to London for legal or law studies, which is to become a barrister, his community did not take it very, very well. Community did not want, even certain family members did not want him to go. So when he left in 1888, when he does not comply, he was told that if he returns, that if he returns, will not be part of the community or his caste. So basically, the people around him were not very happy that he was going to London. And this would explain to you that why Gandhi was not inclined to come to India in 1891. When he will complete his law degree, Gandhi, between 1888 and 1891, will study law in London. But when he graduated, he wasn't really inclined to go back to India, because he knew that there would be resistance from his own community. But what is more interesting is 1869 to 1888 and 1891. Here he is under a princely state, and here he's in London. Now you tell me, would Gandhi have seen the real face of colonialism in between this period of first 25-30 years? No. Here, not seen real India or British India. And here he has seen false sense of British rule. In London, he sees equality, he sees opportunity, he sees justice, and his conclusion is that the British, much like Dadabhai Naoroji, the British are known for rule of law, justice, equality, and democracy. And princely state, because princely states are more or less internally independent, he would have not seen the level at which something would happen in Bengal, or for example Bombay, or for example in a more what we call as interior area of British India. And in London, there is a more cosmopolitan environment in which Indians who are wealthy are considered. So he was in a circle where he was not very discriminated against. There will be a little bit of discrimination, not the way the British were discriminating in India or in South Africa. The fact is that the fact is that colonialism is not fully in force. So now what we believe is that in 1891, Gandhi, he has a distorted vision and understanding of colonialism, and over and above that, he believes in British sense of justice. So real face of colonialism not seen. At the same point of time, Gandhi will also read three to four very important people. For example, Ruskin, thinkers. Ruskin, Tolstoy, and Thoreau. And Ruskin and Tolstoy, through their books, he will pick up simplicity, he will pick up community, he'll pick up morality as a very important virtue. And Thoreau taught him something very important, which is disobedience as a form of protest or resistance, which is that you don't have to always actively do something against someone. If you're disobeying, it is also a type of protest. So now Gandhi's initial understanding is a very distorted one, a very very distorted one, because after being born, getting married at a very young age to Kasturba Gandhi, leaving for London, and then going into the different ideas of colonialism, he had seen that he comes from a community which has a trait of resistance and injustice. He talks about fasting, he talks about self-suffering that he has picked up from his mother Putli Bai. Tolstoy taught him the concept of morality, simplicity, truthfulness. Ruskin taught him the concept of self-sufficient community and simple life. But it is Thoreau who basically told him resistance through disobedience. So the point is, when Gandhi is leaving when he's now completed his law studies, he has the following initial understanding. Does anybody have any issue in understanding this? No? And each of these things will have a certain importance. Each of these things will have a certain importance in the larger story. Are we clear? Okay. Now Gandhi, like you, is an unemployed, or like you, an aspiring aspirant, unemployed barrister looking for a job, why would he not go to India, or why was he not inclined to go to India? Why would he not go to India? Gandhi had read these books, Ganesh. He knows that his community will do a lot of chick chick jig jig, and they will do a lot of resistance. So there's no point. As always, you would have also seen in your life, if you've gone through it, why do you need to go to Delhi to prepare? Why do you need to go to this place to prepare? Isn't the studies good enough in India? This and that standard thing. All relatives have an issue with when you or your brother or your sister or you have left your city to prepare. So standard things. He was like, he said that if I'll go back, I will get this backlash from my community. I am nobody. Gandhi at this point of time was just a big in the big army of barristers which were there, just one more man. So for 2 years he will seek job. He will not get anything in London, as it is. Who will get an Indian judge, or who will actually employ an Indian lawyer in London? So through his merchant community, in 1893 he gets an offer. He gets an offer from a person called Dada Abdullah, a Gujarati merchant in South Africa, to represent him in a legal case. So there is certain dispute between Abdullah and the British South African government authorities over labor and goods. So in 1893, he gets his first job offer to travel from London and go to South Africa. He was going to reach Durban, from Durban to Pretoria, from Pretoria to a place called Natal. Natal and Natal Transvaal, two very important places associated with Gandhi generally. Now, if you were Gandhi, you would accept it or not accept it? Or if you were in his position, you would accept it, not accept it? You would obviously accept it, looking for a job for 2 years. And Gandhi accepts in 1893, accepts to travel to South Africa. Now, South Africa is a British colony, previously under the Dutch, called Boers. They were called Boers. Used to call themselves Boers. But South Africa has a very interesting set of. South Africa has three types of Indians, and that is why Abdullah needed Gandhi, because educated Indian was very rare. The three types of Indians you will find in South Africa. Now I'm going to South African leg. No issues. I'm telling you the three type of Indians. We all are on board. Gandhi accepting the offer. Everything is fine till this point. No issues. Because we have to take this story forward a little bit more. Okay. Now, the three types of Indians you will find in South Africa is a merchant, but he travels between South Africa and India. This is the first type. For example, Dada Abdullah falls under this subtype. But there are two more types. An indentured Indian labor who has stayed in South Africa for less than 5 years. Second type. And the third type is called a free Indian labor or ex-indentured labor. He has stayed more than 5 years in South Africa. Now, honestly, how many of you know what is indentured and how many of you don't know what is indentured labor? Because accordingly, I will teach you what is indentured, what is not indentured. Any idea about it? No idea. No idea. No idea. Don't know. Little bit. Labor who are in debt. Not debt bondage, but not bonded labor exactly. Contractual labor. So then you know it when you don't know the exact thing. Okay, let's try to understand indentured labor. Let's try to understand indentured labor. Let's leave this thing. For example, Jaswant, he's a very good chef. He lives in Agra. Where do you live, Jaswant? I'll write that place only. Where do you live, Jaswant? Alwar. Okay, very good. Alwar. He lives in Alwar. Very good chef. Makes very good food. मस्त पराठे बनाता है एकदम. Instant heat. And Nikhil is a restaurant owner in New York. Now the point is Nikhil wants to develop a good Indian restaurant in New York, but the problem is he does not have labor. So he wants a chef, and Jaswant has the aspiration to go to Vilayat. He wants to go to New York to earn. He knows that his parathas will sell like anything. Now the problem is that Jaswant does not have the money to travel. Doesn't have money. And that money close to 20 lakh rupees is needed to travel. And Nikhil has not told, let's take someone else, Akash or Ashish, that I need a chef. And I will give you commission if you bring me a good chef. Now Ashish, he travels to India. And when he travels to India, he eats the parathes of Jaswant and he says that he's an instant hit in New York. So now, basically what Ashish says to Jaswant is, Nikhil is ready to pay this 20 lakh for your travel between Alwar to New York. He's ready to pay this 20 lakh. And the rule is that we will be under contract. We'll be under contract. your during this contract for 5 years, you will work for free for Nikhil till you pay off the 20 lakhs. Or you will work for free, or rather, let's say, you will work for Nikhil till you pay off that 20 lakhs. So this is the debt on you, 20 lakh rupees. And he says, for example, 5 years, 20 lakhs. How much am I paying every year? 4 lakh. Divide 4 lakh by 12 months. 33,000 rupees, or 33,000 rupees is your salary, but you owe also 33,000. So your salary is equal to the EMI which you pay to Nikhil. And when the day, on the 5th year, first day, when you have completely paid off that 20 lakh, now Jaswant is free to work what he wants to work. Jaswant is free to leave and start his life as a free labor. So as some of you said, between 2023 to 2028, Jaswant is basically a bonded labor. He has been bound by debt of 20 lakh rupees. Ashish got his cut. He's happy about that. And after 2028, Jaswant is free labor. He can or cannot work with Nikhil. That is totally his call. So basically what Jaswant will be called is an indentured labor. To put it into, does this make sense? It is basically called temporary slavery. I'll repeat it again, but now in exact terms. An indentured labor is a labor who has been contracted by an employer via an agent to work for the debt paid for travel across the two places. Mostly it was 5 years of bonded relationship, which would then end with you becoming free labor. Ends with free labor. So a person could travel between Bombay and South Africa. 500 pounds was needed. The employer used to pay that 500 pounds. Until this 500 pounds is not paid, you are bounded to the employer. A lot of Indians went to Fiji, Sri Lanka, Mauritius, Caribbean islands, South Africa, Polynesian islands, based on this concept itself as labor. Now, basically, the concept is salary equals to EMI, or wage equals to EMI, and therefore you have no wage or salary, but the day you pay it off, you are free to choose who to work with. What is the benefit for the labor? You are a beggar, or Jaswant, let's take Jaswant. Jaswant will never become what he can become in New York or what he is in India. If he remains in Alwar, he may get 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees a month. But he knows that he can earn 20 to 30 lakhs rupees a month if he goes to London or if he goes to New York. Now, basically, it's not that he's working for free. It's not that he's being forced to do it. You enter this voluntarily. Nikhil will have to give him food and shelter. Nikhil will have to give him food and shelter. So, yes, that is the point. Can it be a way of exploitation? Nikhil at starting pays nahi. It will become a form of exploitation very simply, because if I have paid 20 lakh as your travel money, do you really think that I'm not going to over exploit you? And when there is over exploitation, cannot leave. That is why it's called temporary slavery. You are bound to the employer for a time, and the employer will obviously try to take out more than what he's given. It's not a just system. In case of Sri Lanka, then debt will be less, right? Yes, sure. But mostly 5 years was always the contract. 5 years, irrespective of anything. There's no concept of justness here. 5 years, whatever be the amount. Indentured labor are also like big amount paid in advance to the family, then after a certain time need to work under contract. No money is transferred to you or your family. The thekedar, his job is to just take you from London to India or India to London. His task is to just do. He will never give you any money. That you are calling is debt bondage. That is called debt bondage. This is not debt bondage. This is indenture. This is indenture. Does this make sense? Now, when I show you this slide, are you able to understand what are the three types of Indians? One is a merchant, comes and goes. One is an indentured who has been less than there for 5 years. So he is mostly bounded to somebody. He is basically bound to some employer who is exploiting him. But there is also another Indian who has done their 5 years of bondage and now are free. Laborers are accepting the contract just for travel. That's the basic point. You have better opportunity. You could be a beggar in India, but now at least you have a chance to be a wage earner. Better opportunity and compulsions. A lot of indentured labor were also criminals, according to the British. You killed somebody. Now what do? Either the British is going to prosecute you. Now what you do is that you go to a contractor and say that you let me go to London or take me to South Africa. So either there are compulsions or there is better opportunity. You would think if today, for example, I'll give you a very simple example. Very simple example. If today UPSC says that for 10 years you would have to work for free without giving the examination, on the 11th year you will be given your salary and all the benefits, and these 10 years no wage, no salary, only one flat and basic food things will be given. Would you accept it? There's no interest rate concept here. There's no interest rate because it's not a debt, it is a payment. You are saying no with all powers. You are an IAS officer. The only difference is you get no salary. You will say no, most people will say yes. The people who are saying no are most probably first time attempters. First attempt people, optimism, lot of करने की चाह. Most of the people after third, fourth attempt will accept it. What's the benefit without salary? The fact that you will be an IS officer in the 11th year. Get my point? It is this hope that you will get a salary and benefit. You are an IS officer. As it is for 10 years, you will not do anything. What are you doing? Kar lo 10 years. What are you doing for 10 years? You tell me. कभी ना कभी तो salary आएगी. You are getting food, you are getting a house, you are getting no salary. We are talking about indenture because if you don't understand indenture labor, then you will not understand what Gandhi was going to do. Power क्या करोगे? Power है, you also have power. You need power. And what do you think is the power of an IS officer? What is the power of an IS officer? What is the power of an IS officer? The government of India has power. What power do you have? You're saying power, question mark, question mark. What is the power of an IS officer? Your title is civil servant. Power is with the politician. Power is with your senior. If the politician says that you sit, you don't sit. The power of an IS officer is the power of the government of India. And the power of the government of India is not you are a tool. You are not a power center. You are an executor. Civil servant. Remember this point. Power is, yes, you can sign and release 500 crore rupees. But that 500 crores, 5,000 crore go into your account? Does it go to your account? It is being sanctioned from one to the other. You have the power to sign it. If you will not sign it, either you will not get a promotion or your senior is not going to, or is going to create so much pressure that you will sign it. When you do become an IS officer, I would like to know how much power you have. Yes? Civil servant equal to president? No. President has to do nothing. Civil servant has to do everything. It's like, yeah, that's a very good analogy, Akash, like a bank manager. I have a whole branch under me. Does that mean that every account in that branch and that 200 crores in that branch is mine? I can take it home. You hold it for the bank. It's not even bank manager. You're like the cashier. कैशियर तो पैसा ही पैसा रहता है. 2,000 रुपए के नोट है, 1,000, 2,000 रुपीज, 500 रुपीज नोट, इतना गड्डी की गड्डी बना के रखी हुई. बट कैन ही डू एनीथिंग विद इट? So, no, this is the truth because there's a very big misconception. Power is within a hierarchy. Power is within a hierarchy. It's not to demotivate you or tell you. I'm just telling you the truth. Power is within a hierarchy. That's it. You have power, sure, but do good for the people. You are a civil servant. Your job is to do good for the people. That is surely power. You can make a road, sure, but that is for the good of the people. For you, it is just a job. Understand this point. You have the power. Yes, you have a lot of power. As a DM, you have a lot of power. But to do good for the people, build a road, sanction a road, sanction an irrigation work, go and sort out a problem with the villager. That is why nowadays IS officers have to take with them cameramen and photographers. They do things which they should do, but they do it like a favor to the nation. And that is your job. You went and solved an issue with regards to, for example, a village not getting water. Good. That was your job. So why are you making a spectacle out of it? That's basically like, for example, somebody, the delivery person is giving you a delivery. So is he doing a favor onto you? No, you are service delivery institution. You always forget one thing, that it is a service which you provide as an IS officer, which is to the nation, which is to do good, which is to serve the people, which is to serve the people. The problem is that we are stuck in that ICS model, colonial mentality. In the newspaper, when you will clear, men and women who rule India. What India, which India they rule, nobody knows. Part and parcel, you will learn as you go into the service, as you will get to know about the services more. So, service delivery, it's a service delivery institution, nothing more. If you understand indenture, I would like to talk about Gandhi again, go back to Gandhi. But remember what I told you. Don't ask me if power is there or not. Power is the part of the job. Power, a person who controls, gives electricity to houses also has power. The power to cut electricity. But that is part of his job. That's it. Your larger, it's a steel frame. You are just one bolt. That's it. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. The whole steel frame, which is the bureaucracy, is called steel frame. The whole government of India has a steel frame. You are just one bolt. You agree with it, okay, you will be fastened, you will get, but you want this job because it is a permanent job. The president can remove you, or things can still happen. Quite a lot people think that the president will come to your house and say that you are dismissed. A lot of discretionary power with the state governments, and I don't need to tell you how the life of IS officers can be destroyed if you don't agree with the government. But the fact of the matter is that you are just one bolt. You're that one small screwdriver bolt. You can be replaced, but you are equally important. But you're serving a purpose. That is it. It's a profession. It's a career. That's it. In the day you will realize it, the day you actually realize this, you will remove the pressure off your shoulders, and maybe you will clear this examination more quickly. People forget one thing, that becoming an IS officer is a means to an end. It is not an end in itself. An ISRO scientist is doing more for this nation than an IS officer. You agree or don't agree, doesn't matter. But he will never get the recognition which an IS officer will get, because we are still stuck in this colonial mentality. An ISRO scientist, a person who is doing what you call rigging across in the Arabian Sea, the person who's trying to go to Antarctica and do research about things, an astrophysicist, a lot of people are doing much more for this nation, but they will never get recognition, because we are stuck in a mentality where we are talking about only the people who are the face, not the people behind them. So let's come back to Gandhi, but food for thought. Remember, you are a public servant. If you will remember that, you will never feel bad when somebody says something to you as an IS officer. Are we clear about the three types of Indians? Because this is where I have to go forward and discuss how does Gandhi come in here. Are we clear? Okay. Okay, now. Gandhi is a very rare breed in that regard. Because he's an educated Indian lawyer in a sea of merchants, in a sea of indentured labor and ex-indenture. So if there's a dispute with the government of South Africa, you tell me who can represent if Gandhi is not there. Government of South Africa, if there's an issue, who will represent? Are these people educated? Well, true, Aniket, that is the point. See, merchant cannot. Because who told you that merchants are literate? To fight with the government of South Africa, you need to know rule of law. You need to know English jurisprudence. And you tell me who in South Africa will be ready to represent Indians? Can you go and just randomly argue in front of a judge in India? When you go through the legal system, you need a lawyer. Now the problem is that the people who are there are not lawyers. They have no idea about how to deal with the notifications which are coming from the government of South Africa. Now, I told you what is his formative influence. I've told you why he going to South Africa is very significant, and why Gandhi's formative influence is going to be important is going to come to you right now. Now, in 1893, Gandhi lands or deboards at Durban. Can I take the story forward, everybody? Come on. Now, this is the real story of what Gandhi is going to be very soon. Now, when he lands in 1893, he is the suit boot ka Gandhi, which is the Gandhi who looks like this. The Gandhi who is a lawyer, who has come from London, and he has a certain notion in his mind. The suit boot Gandhi, the real Gandhi has not come out. This is the Gandhi who believes in the British. So in 1893, when he lands in Durban, he has now a very small, he has a very important meaning in his heart that I have landed as a lawyer. I am an Indian. I am a lawyer in legal studies of the English. So I have to be treated as I've been treated in London. Now in 1893, he now takes or does the mistake of buying. He's basically a moderate Gandhi. He now buys the first class ticket between Durban and Pretoria. First class ticket meaning there are, as you know, what is called first class, second class, third class, or 3-tier, 2-tier, first tier. You have coaches, sleeper, general. So basically, he's taken the ticket of the first class. Now, when he takes the ticket of the first class, from Durban he starts, but people start to notice a brown man in an English carriage. And at the fateful station of Pietermaritzburg, he will be thrown out by the TT onto the railway track, saying, "You cannot travel in first class." So now comes Gandhi's innocent question, as you also ask me from time to time, why? Why cannot I travel in the first class? And the reason why was because he was a brown man. Blacks and browns were not allowed along with dogs in English spaces. And therefore, Gandhi, within hours of landing in South Africa, had seen the real face of colonialism within one moment. In South Africa, the racial division is even more pronounced because of the black and white population. The Negroid, the what we call as black population, and the white population. Indians don't fit in either. We are not white, we are not black, but we are clubbed with the blacks itself. Now Gandhi will be thrown out. He will go to the station master. He will say that I bought a ticket with my own money, and you can't do it to me. So what the station master does is, he knows that he's going to talk like a lawyer, that I will go to this, I will go to that. He says, okay, board the next train. He boards the next train with the same ticket, and this time he's beaten up and thrown on the railway track. Now Gandhi had seen within 3 to 4 hours the brutality and the real face of colonialism. Now he'll again go to the station master. Station master will say the next train is tomorrow. He will go to every hotel. Every hotel will say that you cannot stay here because browns were not allowed. Blacks and browns were not allowed in English hotels. He thought it was London, and he was in South Africa, a colonial city. In Pittsburgh, he will be humiliated beyond exception. Next day, he will take a train. He will still go to the first class. Again, he will start to get beaten up. This time, he will be given refuge in the carriage in which the train driver sits. But this was the conviction of Gandhi and his maritime resistance, that he did not go to the third class. He said, I will not go to the general bogie. I will not go to the third class. I have bought a ticket. I will go in a carriage. You take me in which carriage you want to. So he's not taken, or he's not allowed in the first class, but he will go in the railway bogie of the driver. When he will reach Pretoria, from which he will go to Natal, Gandhi in that journey itself saw colonialism. But it is believed that Gandhi now thought that maybe the British don't know what is happening on the ground. Same innocence of the moderates. And it is believed that between 1894 or 96 to 1906, Gandhi will say that he will only stay for 1 month, then 3 months, but he will then stay for 10 years. And in this period, we call it the moderate phase of Gandhi. In the moderate phase of Gandhi, very simply, Gandhi will do what the moderates did. He said that the British are just. If I tell the South African government, if I tell the governor or the viceroy of India, if I tell, for example, everybody in London that people are being discriminated against in South Africa, he started different things. For example, he had a Natal Congress. He then asked Gopal Krishna Gokhale to take this issue up in the INC. He will also have a paper called the Indian Opinion. And in that, he will do what people, moderates do, PPP, which is prayer and petition. That we are Indians, we need to, indentured labor also have rights, this and that. And the British did not care about Indians. Gandhi did not face the same type of discrimination in London, because in London, it's a cosmopolitan environment. London, you will not find this type of environment because the population is lower. London is a much more cosmopolitan industrial town. It's like Delhi today. There is a lot of syncretism. But British outside England were very different. Now, Gandhi will do this for 10 years. Prayer, petition. But by 1906, he understood that nothing was going to really happen. And that is why, after landing in South Africa, where discrimination is very high, from the incident at Pittsburgh Station to Natal Indian Congress, to taking up this in the Calcutta session in 1901, to getting up a new Transvaal British India Association. Now you see, does this indicate to you the moderate nature of Gandhi? That is still using British India Association. And further, he will now have a newspaper called Indian Opinion. He will get a small settlement. He'll establish a small house in which it's called the Phoenix Settlement, where Indians will, indentured labor will live. But in 1906, Gandhi will basically give up on this because nothing was going to happen. So it is believed that between 1894, 96 to be precise, he was in a moderate phase. He concentrated his petitioning to the colonial secretary in London, to the South African legislature, to the British Parliament. The fact that he was talking about how if the imperial government got a sense of what the real case was, their sense of justice and fair play would get be aroused. And his attempt was to unite all sections of the people together. And he will bring up the Natal Indian Congress, paper Indian opinion. But by 1906, he understood nothing was going to happen. And it is in this context that Gandhi will change his strategy. It is in this context that Gandhi will change his strategy. The 1906, there will be an act which will be enacted, and that act was called the Registration Act. Now, what I want to do here is I want to give you a 5-minute breather. After that, I want to discuss the South African Registration, Poll Tax, Immigration, and Marriage Act. Then 5 minutes again, and move towards the concept of advent of Gandhi to India. Because the story is long and it will become too much after a point. So if we are clear till moderate phase of Gandhi, I would then go to the second phase, which is the Satyagraha phase. What is Satyagraha? What is the concept? Can we take a break here? Okay. Okay. So it is 3:08. We can come back at 3:15 and we can take the story forward. Right? Okay. See you. Okay, welcome back. Can we take the story forward? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Very good, very good, very good. Very, 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 very good. Okay, till this point, anybody any issue? Anybody has any issue here till this point? Obviously, that picture is not real because nobody was there to take that picture. It is just an enactment. It is out of a movie, Vivek. Ask me something which would make sense. Okay. Now let's take the story forward. 1906. 1906. Something changes. Everyone's here, right? All good. Okay, perfect. 1906, something changes. And the Registration Act is enacted. And Gandhi sees this act as a new law for the British. And he believed that now there was a need to change the strategy vis-a-vis the British. So his 1896 to 1906, his conviction has now gone. The previous topic in background of this topic, yes, it is important. I'll tell you the importance of the moderate phase. I'll tell you the importance of this whole concept itself. Don't worry about that. I will tell you why we are discussing it, because tend to teach, people tend to teach the whole concept itself of Gandhi without talking about South Africa. But South Africa is very important. Now, he has now given up on his moderate politics. And very simply, the fact of the matter was Gandhi now changes his strategy. And the strategy was called Satyagraha. The Registration Act is a very simple act. It says one thing very clear, that under the Registration Act, every Indian has to carry at all times a ID card or identification certificate which has all details and asks if you are ex or you are indentured. Now, Gandhi saw this a very major infringement of the government of the Indian right. Equivalent to this would be, for example, if you believe that the government of India says that at every point, every moment you are outside your house, you need to have the Aadhaar card. And if you don't have the Aadhaar card, you will be jailed for it. This in itself is a very, very big thing. Is a very, very big thing, because this could be the biggest game-changing moment for Gandhi, because he found this unacceptable. He found this unacceptable, that we cannot allow something like this to happen generally. So Gandhi found this unacceptable at all levels, because this is an infringement of the right of every Indian to be anonymous. Fingerprints are needed, everything. Fingerprints are needed, everything is needed. So know one thing very clearly, that this is something which is extremely, extremely new. And Gandhi saw this as a moment where he could now launch his new understanding, which is called as passive resistance or Satyagraha. Now, before I tell you what this method is and take the story forward, what is Satyagraha? What is Satyagraha? What is Satyagraha? Can anybody tell me? What is Satyagraha? Seeking the truth. But don't give me a goal-matol answer. Give me a straight answer. What is Satyagraha? What do I mean by passive resistance? What is this passive resistance? What is this passive resistance? You all are writing seeking truth. I know that Satyagraha means seeking truth. That is totally fine. But what is Satyagraha exactly? What is Satyagraha exactly? Non-violence, non-cooperation, request for peaceful resistance, andolan, self-suffering, civil disobedience, very good, fight for justice, not working for government, just deny of anything instead of doing destructive things, non-cooperation, self-suffering, civil disobedience, silent movement, ready to suffer ourselves. Achha. For a 2023 youth, you have a lot of idea of what is Satyagraha. Very good. Now, let's try to understand what is Satyagraha. I get it. You all are patching up things together to produce an understanding. For example, let's try to understand what is Satyagraha and then we'll go back to how he used it. Now, see, Satyagraha has multiple components. Satya ka agraha means Satyagraha, seeking the truth. But the first time he used this word was 1906, was passive resistance, which he gave the word Satyagraha. But Satyagraha actually has 3 preconditions and 4 forms. First, the Satyagrahi has to be ready to self-suffer. Second, everyone needs to do it. Everyone needs to do it. And third, which is timing matters. And what is Satyagraha? Is non-cooperation, civil disobedience, non-violence, and self-suffering, or what we call as fast. Who is everyone? Everyone means masses. I'll show you what this everyone means. Please understand. What I've established to you is that Gandhi's formative influences, Gandhi's South African experience, Gandhi's moderate politics, Gandhi's change of heart in Registration Act. Now, these 4 things, in order to explain them and in order to understand it, we need to understand what is Satyagraha. What is Satyagraha? Now, in order to understand Satyagraha, there are certain preconditions. Now, see, you don't know it, but you do it yourself. See, there are 2 types of resistance. One is called active resistance, and the other one is called passive resistance. What do I mean by active and passive resistance? Active resistance means that what the extremist is doing, going, slapping the Britisher, what, for example, you start to fight with somebody, you try to engage with the person, and the engagement leads to confrontation. Satyagraha works in the other way around. Resistance through non-engagement or passive resistance. Now you pay attention. For example, the first principle of it is non-cooperation. Is Non-cooperation. Now, what do you mean by non-cooperation? Non-cooperation means that you don't break a law, but you disobey a person to send a message. I'll give you a very simple example. You've done it in your lifetime. You will be doing it as of right now, what I speak. Teacher says that on 23rd June, you have to give the assignment. But everybody in class decides that 23rd June is very close. Let's all give it on 26th. Now, this is called non-cooperation. It's not that you're not going to give it. You are not cooperating with the teacher. Now, the point is, if one person doesn't do it, will it impact the resistance? If 1% only does it, only 1% does it. If that 1% is going to do it, that person will get punished or will be thrown out of class or will be penalized. But if everybody comes together, it is non-cooperation. I'm not breaking the law. I'm not saying that I will not give you the assignment, but I will give it when I want to give it. Under what used to happen under Registration Act, Gandhi told the people, this is the registration document. He said, keep the document with you. But if the police says, show us the document, say, we don't have it. You are not cooperating. And then when he takes you to the jail or takes you to the police station, and then he says, tell me your name, I will put in the offense. You say, what is my offense? You will say, you don't have the registration certificate. He will say, no, I have the registration certificate. Now, basically, this is not doing anything out of the box. But imagine if every Indian did it, what will happen? Every Indian goes to the jail, and thereafter, from the police station, he says, no, I have it. See, I have it. This is about non-cooperation. Do not cooperate with the authorities as a form of resistance. But everyone has to do it. And the timing matters. For example, in the night, if you will do it, the policeman will beat you up. Do it in the daytime. Timing matters. Now, the second is civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is, you have given me a law. I will break laws, very insignificant, but I'll try to show you that I am not cooperating with you. Non-cooperation and civil disobedience, a very, very fine line is between them. Non-cooperation and civil disobedience, there is a very, very fine line, because non-cooperation can become civil disobedience very quickly. Now, it's not that I will go and murder everyone. That is breaking a very big law. That's breaking a very, very big law. I will break small laws. Not very big laws, but very small laws. So I will show you my dissatisfaction by breaking that small law. And if I have to go to jail for it, obviously, for breaking a very small law, this offense, you will remain in the jail for 2 days, 3 days, 1 month. That's why the concept of jail bharo. But in doing all of this, one precondition is there, which is non-violence. Because if you will be violent, if you will act violently, you are doing active resistance. Then you are giving the oppressor the chance to basically destroy the argument that you did not do anything. I cooperated, but I did not cooperate also. Are you seeing? He said, come with me to the police station. I said, okay, chal. It is resistance through non-engagement. I am doing it also, I'm not doing it also. I'll give you a very, very simple example of non-cooperation. Very simple example of non-cooperation. In India, there are three types of bike riders. One is a person who wears his helmet. He's a loyalist. He's following the law. The second one is he who does not wear a helmet. He's an extremist, moderate, extremist. He does not believe in the law. He will not wear the helmet. He would rather get killed in the process of being in an accident, but he will not wear the helmet. But there's another third type of biker in India. And that biker is, he will wear the helmet in his hand and then drive the bike. Helmet hai. Helmet is there. But sar pe nahi pehne. Will not wear it on our head. This is called non-cooperation. I don't abide by your law itself. I have the helmet. I'll not wear it on my head. So I am following the law also, but I'm not cooperating also. This is called non-cooperation. And I'll give you one more very interesting example of how you have also done, and every Indian born today has done non-cooperation, civil disobedience. Can I tell you that example? Is this making sense to you? Non-cooperation is not breaking laws. It's about not abiding by the law at moment, not actively not doing it. Non-cooperation is not to obey what the government is saying. That may not be legally charged. It may just be about not doing what the people are saying. Civil disobedience is breaking the law itself. Now, can I tell you how every child in India has done non-cooperation, civil disobedience? Can I tell you that? Okay. See, every Indian, as a child, you wanted something. You wanted to go to a party. Your mother and father say no. So you start with non-cooperation. Give me the glass of water. You lack deaf. Acha, pani manga tha. Did not remember. They are stuck, for example, on their phone. You know the answer to that issue, but you will not say, no, I don't know what it is. Non-cooperation. They will say that, come and get these things, products from the market. You will only get 5 of them and leave 5. Non-cooperation. You are trying to send a message to your parents that I am abiding the laws, but I'm not happy with the situation. Now, as soon as you realize that your parents are not going to go with this type of non-cooperation and they're not getting convinced, you move to civil disobedience. Come home by 8 p.m. You will go, it's not that you will come by 11, you come at 8:15. So you're breaking the law, but not by a lot. Then they will say, do this. You won't do that. They will say that water the plants, but don't water this plant. You will water that plant also. Breaking the law, but small laws. This is called civil disobedience. I am being disobedient so as to send a message to the people that I will not abide by your tanashahi or your oppression. This is the true meaning of civil disobedience and non-cooperation. Non-cooperation and civil disobedience are very close to each other. But civil disobedience is the first step further, one step further than non-cooperation. So do we understand that what is satyagraha? Satya ka agrah, people need to remain united. Everybody needs to do it and they should be ready for hardship. It's a way of life, truthful, political and passive resistance of the extremists in the way that extremists are active. It's about passive resistance. And very simply, satyagraha, there are 2 preconditions. Everyone has to do it. And if you do it too much, you will be basically diluting satyagraha. If you do it too much, it will have no effect. It will have no effect. Because if you are going to make it a point that your teacher says 10th and you are going to give it on 15th and you do it every time, it will make sure that the teacher is going to then create a certain impediment in your understanding. So please be very clear in knowing that if everyone does not do it, it still does not work. Everyone has to do it and at the right time they have to do it. Yes? Are we clear? Are we clear? Behavior is not the opposite of extremists. They are in between moderates and extremists. Moderate don't do anything. Extremists do too much. So we're doing something but not doing anything. A lot of you do satyagrah. As of right now, people are doing satyagrah. I'm saying, is it okay? Say yes. हम तो बोलेंगे ही नहीं. We will not say yes, because this is the act of being in class also, but also not being in class. Non-cooperation. That you are not ready to cooperate with the rules itself. You've done it. You have done it in your life. You do it every day, which is non-cooperation. And when I say 3-4 times, then you will say yes. So it's basically to say to me that I don't care if you want a yes or not. I don't abide by the rules. So satyagraha is a method which Gandhi employed. So the first thing on which he employed, we understand satyagraha method. We understand satyagraha method. Yes? Everybody. Non-cooperation. Every Indian is a Gandhian. They don't know it. Registration Act was non-cooperation. We will not allow or cooperate with the authorities. Now I have to show you one more thing, very important method, which Gandhi will realize after this. Thereafter, if this was not enough, the British will do one thing more further. They will go for what is called as an Immigration Act. Under Immigration Act, Indians cannot travel between certain districts. So Gandhi will do in here civil disobedience, and with a band of followers, even with Kasturba Gandhi along with him, he will go from Transvaal to Natal and back. And this was not allowed under the immigration law. And here he will have what is called as jail bharo. Everybody should go and fill up the jail. So as to show, this is basic. Satyagraha is nothing but to annoy the oppressor. It's not that they are doing something very big that it will be path breaking in that regard. No. It is to annoy the oppressor. They're literally annoying the oppressor that we don't agree with what you say. We don't agree with what you say. It's about annoying the oppressor. Then, if that was not enough, the British will introduce what is called as poll tax. Will introduce, it's called poll tax. Poll tax is the different issue altogether. Under poll tax, the British said every Indian who is free labor needs to pay 3 pounds. Needs to pay 3 pounds to remain free every month. Imagine that the government of India today tells you how Gandhi convinced people to participate in Satyagraha, because Gandhi showed to the people that if we don't do this, then the British authorities will keep on doing more and more. So he had shown to the people that moderate mentality does not work. That is why people are following him. Poll tax basically means that the British are saying, imagine today the government of India says that if you do not pay 1 lakh rupee a month, you will not remain a free citizen and you will put into a jail. This is extremely dangerous understanding. Extremely dangerous understanding, because that means that they are basically saying that if you are a free citizen, if you are a free citizen or a free Indian, you may not remain like that if you do not pay that. And £3 is a very, very big amount. £3 is a very, very, very big amount, because £3 not everybody has. Please understand this point. Having £3 is a very big amount at this point of time, because £3 an Indian cannot afford itself, which is in itself a major, yes, could be close to 3 to 400 rupees at that point of time. It is not a joke that Indians felt that this was too much money. Getting my point? Why poll tax would make the people that I have paid off my debt and now you are asking me to pay more. I paid for 5 years. I paid my debt, but now you are asking me to pay more every month. This is unprecedented, because Gandhi was now convinced that the British had literally lost their understanding. British had literally lost their understanding. This is a very important point you need to understand. British are pushing the Indians more and more in a direction in which they feel that no, this is not enough. This is not enough. But now when when Gandhi said non-cooperation, you tell me, will the British actually not be oppressive? Because I need to teach you something here. A very important method of Gandhi. Would not Gandhi, or would not the British retaliate because it was about money? It was about money. What kind of communication channels was used for these messages? Nothing. It was announced to everybody. It was announced to everybody that this is going to be the case. Are we clear? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Yes or no? Everyone. Is this making sense to you? Is this making sense to you? Making sense? Yes? Yes? Perfect. Because here Gandhi will realize something. Rest in peace has already happened. Gandhi will realize something very important at this point of time, that the British were not going to give up like this. The British were not going to give up like this, because at the end of the day, there was something bigger at play here. And during the transition between this rest in peace, which is registration, what we call as immigration, and poll tax, people were now getting more and more. I'm coming to that. People were now getting more and more frustrated. If I ask you to go into jail, come out of jail, go into jail, come out of jail, into jail, out of jail, would you not feel frustrated? Would you not feel frustrated that I am asking you to do something with no real consequence? And here, after poll tax, Gandhi will take from his very good German friend a small farm which he named as Tolstoy Farm. The name was Klenbach. He gave a small farm to the Satyagrahis. And in this farm, what he wanted was that the Satyagrahis rest, rest and rejuvenate their families to be under a certain understanding. And with this rest, the British finally did something which was too oppressive, which is marriage. Under Marriage Act, what the British said was that every marriage which was not done in Christian rituals was invalid and not registered or cannot be registered, cannot be registered, cannot be registered with registrar of, of marriages. This means Hindu, Muslim, Parsi, all have been invalidated. All have been invalidated. Nobody is now going to be considered a valid marriage. No marriage could be going to be considered. All marriages have now been invalidated. All children born to these marriages are also invalid. And therefore, the concept is very simple that this was unacceptable to Gandhi. And here there will be civil disobedience plus mass protest. Everybody is going to come on the streets, and this will be Gandhi's last push. And finally, in 1915, the British authorities will have to listen to Gandhi, and Gandhi will then say that make all of these laws invalidated. He put so much pressure on the British that the British had to listen. So his story between 1906 to 1915 is Rest in Peace Mahatma, registration, immigration, poll, and marriage. In between poll and marriage, he takes a gap. And it was non cooperation, civil disobedience, non cooperation, civil disobedience. But the question would be, why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about this? This is a very good question. Why am I talking about this? Is this a question which comes to your mind, that why am I telling you this whole story? What is the value of this story? What is the value of this story? Can I tell you the value of this story? Can I? Can I tell you the value of this story? See, three things have happened. First, Gandhi has already gone through his moderate phase. Would this be a valid judgment? Would this be a valid judgment? Would this be a valid judgment? Is it a valid judgment? Yes. Okay. Second, Gandhi has devised a strategy called Satyagraha, which over a period of time creates pressure and did work in South Africa. Did work in South Africa. But the most important point is, in this, which you see here, registration, immigration, poll tax, and marriage, Gandhi came up with his master stroke. And that master stroke is a new methodology called struggle, truce, struggle. Gandhi could see that every movement or movements are like machines. They overheat. And when they overheat, there is a need for a truce. Draw. Poll tax, immigration, sorry. You have registration, immigration, poll tax, truce. Then again struggle. Gandhi realized that you cannot ask the people to keep on fighting after fighting after fighting. Can't allow this to be there. Can't expect people to do it, yeah, one after the other. No. Struggle, true struggle. If I am struggling, I have to do it in a way of giving a breather to people. If I can give breather to people, then I can make sure that the people can always be ready to fight further. So the concept of cooling off, cool off, struggle through struggle, struggle through struggle, struggle through struggle, struggle through struggle. Gandhi did it every time. Rowlatt, Jallianwala Bagh, NCM, NCM, Chauri Chora, CDM, Gandhi will back. Everywhere, I'll show it to you. Every movement, when he saw that it was not going anywhere, he took a truce. Rowlatt, NCM, CDM, struggles. Truce. Jallianwala Bagh, Chauri Chora, Gandhi will back. The value of this conversation is that Gandhi had already developed a strategy. Gandhi had already understood how mass movement work. Struggle, truce, struggle. And therefore, the concept is very simple. He knew what he was doing before he landed in India. He knew what he was doing, understood the importance of non-violence. So this is the value of his South African experience. Now, do you understand why I have been screaming on the top of my voice for 1.5 hours and telling you why struggle to struggle, why Gandhi is important, why South Africa is important? Because Gandhi, when he lands back in India in 1915, is no common man. He's the person who had defeated the British, who had made the British take back what they had asked for. So if there's a question which asks you, why is Gandhi and South African experience important? You can talk about that. You never call Gandhi an extremist. Gandhi was a satyagrahi. Satyagraha is not extremism. So if I read it out to you, you see, the second phase of Gandhi was categorized by government enacting legislations which asked Indians to have certificates of registration and essential to carry at all times. Now, this will lead to, in 1906, him hosting in the Empire Theatre in Johannesburg a very, very big meeting in which Indians met, and now he will introduce the concept of satyagraha to them. The government remained adamant. Gandhi used Passive Resistance Association, formed a Passive Resistance Association, took it forward. Then the government introduced the Immigration Acts. He will break that through the Transvaal and Natal rule, which is he will cross from Natal to Transvaal, get arrested, and the satyagrahis were continuously going in and out of jail, but now showing fatigue. And therefore, Gandhi set up the Tolstoy form, which made it possible, all based on the generosity of his friend Glenn Bach, which gave people to stay and rest. Tolstoy form will now become the precursor for his ashram. Further, poll tax was introduced, £3 for all ex-indentures, and this was a very big amount for somebody who was indentured labor in South Africa. The fuel to fire will be added when the Supreme Court will invalidate all marriages not conducted according to Christian rituals, and they cannot be registered with the Registrar of Marriages. Hindu, Muslim, Parsi, all children born are illegitimate. This was seen as an insult on the honor of of the Indian women. Gandhi decided to go after with a very big mass level movement, and this will convince the British to now come on the negotiating table. Gandhi, Harding, who came from India, C.F. Andrews, and General Smart. Smart is the governor of Natal. They will now negotiate with Gandhi over what he wants. and he was able to make all of these acts invalid. And this is what makes Gandhi important. For the curious ones, I've added this timeline. I'll give you a breather here because now I need to do Advent of Gandhi. Are we clear? Yes? Oh, perfect. So we'll come back at Gandhi gave equal. We'll come back at 4, 4, 10, 15. For 10 or 15, we'll see, and we'll take the story forward. I will now discuss with you Gandhi in India. Very important concept, very, very significant. Right? Chalo. See you. I hope South African experience is clear. I'll repeat the importance and then move forward. I hope that now it makes sense. Yes? 3 points. Right. Okay. This right. Okay. This. Okay. I'll see you at 10, 15. Thank you. Welcome back. Can we start again? See, what we've gone through till this point is very simple. We've gone through his South African experience. And what I want to say or convey very clearly is in this phase, he loses faith. In this phase, he develops two things: Satyagraha and struggle to struggle. And this is going to be very significant for India. Now, I need to tell you what it means and what it is, or what is the advent of Gandhi with regards to India itself. Can we discuss India and the three interventions? First, he's coming back, and why did he come back? What is the reason, and everything related to that? Yes, we can do it. Now, see, Gandhi left in 1888. He has now achieved what he wanted to achieve in South Africa. And now that he's seen the real face of colonialism, he wanted to now go back to India. And he now understood what colonialism was and now wants to free India out of all forms of bondage. Now, Gandhi, when he left, he was suit boot ka Gandhi, as it's called, the suit Gandhi. The Gandhi who used to wear suits. When he came to South Africa, he was again inclined towards wearing all of that. But by the time he comes to 1915, Gandhi realizes that British rule can be defeated with a non-violence, with Satyagraha, but over a period of time. And he knew that it is only when every person, for example, Marriage Act impacts everybody. It's only when every person comes on the ground that British can feel the heat of a movement. The moderates were not able to bring masses. The extremists were doing individual activities, who nobody was able to bring the masses into the fold. Now, Gandhi reaches India on 9th January 1915. So, but one thing should be very clear, that Gandhi is no random person. Gandhi is no random person who's reached India. He's Gandhi. He's Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, the magician who had defeated the British. So he is a superstar. He is basically a hero who had now landed back in India. Now, when he landed back in India, he did two things. First is that Gopal Krishna Gokhale told him, don't be a part of any movement or any organization because that will brand you. And second, now Gandhi needed to do something. And people tend to criticize Gandhi that Gandhi is very religious. He uses very religious idioms. But Gandhi is a very good strategist and a PR agent. He is a very, very good PR agent in the sense he understands public relations very well. If Gandhi had landed and be looking like me, would people connect with him? Or would not people call him a moderate? Or would not people not get disconnected by Gandhi? If he was that same suit boot ka Gandhi, or the Gandhi wearing suit, he would not be able to connect to people. So the first thing which Gandhi does is he changes his appearance, because he wants to show to the people he is more about them than actually being about just being a loyalist. Now, he chooses that in 1915 to 1916 to 1917, the first 1 year, he did not want to do anything. He just wanted to travel India and now use the device used by the British to destroy our economy to his own advantage and travel the whole of India and see India. But Gandhi knew that in India, ideology does not sell, ideals don't sell, morality does not sell, but religion does sell. That if I want to mobilize you in the name of religion and I want to mobilize you in the name of humanity, on which ground you will get mobilized more, humanity or religion? You will get mobilized on religion. A religion is something which is close to everybody. Everybody understands it also. Now Gandhi, when he landed in India, so the authorities asked him, "Who are you?" He said, "My name is Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi." So they said, "Same Gandhi of South Africa?" He said, "Yes." Now the British could see that Gandhi had landed in India. So he must be going to do something. But Gandhi used the British strategy, what they did in the initial period in India, was to say, no, no, no. I'm not here for political activities. This is why Gandhi used religion. He said, no, मैं तो आश्रम लगाने आया हूँ. Sabarmati. You know Sabarmati ashram? Mine. I will do spiritual cleansing, truth. We seek truth. Hand spinning. No political activity. We have nothing to do with political activity. I just want to travel India. And his outward projection was that, see, my Sabarmati ashram is about seeking truth. It's about internal cleansing. And nothing to do with it. But he created an outward projection that he's here for religious morality based understanding. Now, Gandhi needed to connect to the people. And Gandhi's outward appearance needed to be much more than just a moderate or a British educated or an English educated Indian. Now, Gandhi was a spectacle because Gandhi's activities across South Africa had been covered in India in a lot of newspapers. So now when Gandhi used to reach any station, and it's a very interesting article written by Shahid Amin who says, the concept of Gandhi Darshan came about, wherein people now started to see Gandhi Baba, that there's a Baba who's come from South Africa. He did some magic in South Africa and the South African authorities agreed. Same way, Gandhi Baba is here. I want to see Gandhi Baba because I will get certain merit by looking at Gandhi Baba. And he is already established an ashram, so he's nothing more than a Baba. And now people, what they will do is they will start to associate stories with Gandhi. For example, one story came that my cow was very, very ill. I went to the station, saw Gandhi Baba, came back, and my cow is perfect now. My landlord was a very bad landlord. I went to see Gandhi Baba at the station. I came back and my landlord's leg broke. Now, nothing is happening because of Gandhi, but Gandhi's aura is such that people are connecting things with Gandhi. Gandhi was able to do something which no one else could do at this point of time, which is show to the people what he was. And he started to connect the whole of Indian masses, specifically the peasant and the workers, because he knew that the day the peasant and the worker gets involved in the national movement, there's no chance that the British can remain in India. Then there's one more accusation. What is the song which was what we call as sung before any meeting of Gandhi or Gandhi's song? What is the song which is associated with Gandhi? Two songs are there. वैष्णवजन तो तेने yes, वैष्णवजन तो तेने कही है and Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram. Now, why did he do it? People, again, it's very easy to call Gandhi what he is. Gandhi did it because he did not want to show that his gatherings were political. कहाँ जा रहे हो? भजन करने? कहाँ? तो गांधी बाबा आए हैं. What is so वैष्णवजन तो तेने कहिए रघुपति राघव राजा राम. Police, the authorities are saying what is happening. Bhajan is happening. Women were not allowed to be part of political movements, but women became part of Gandhi's gathering because Gandhi Baba hai. We are going to see Gandhi Baba and we are going to do bhajan there. He started with a bhajan, then went into political issues. Gandhi did what the British was doing, masking his political side. Gandhi's master stroke was that he knew that in India, religion people would get mobilized. He knew that if he uses religious idioms, not historical, religious idioms, the concept of religion, if he uses, people will come together with it. And that is why the outward appearance, that is why traveling India, that is why he did not want to get connected to anybody. He says moderates are useless, extremists are not doing things, and Home Rule League is too scattered. Gandhi is going to later use the Home Rule League movement, but Gandhi created a certain aura. So don't think that Gandhi was doing just randomly things. No, no, no. He deserves to be on the note because he was a master strategist. He knew that the only way the British could be removed was by everybody getting mobilized. Now, Gandhi also was not very dumb in choosing movements. You tell me one thing. Now, I'm moving away from Gandhi's arrival to his initial interventions. You tell me one thing. If Gandhi came in 1915 and said, I want separate electorates gone. I have set foot on India. If separate electorates is not removed, I will go on too fast. Or I will do something. Would the British had said anything? Or would the fast or his methods done anything generally? Would have done anything. He would have either been thrown into jail or nobody would have given any heed to what he actually said. And the reason for that is very simple. If Gandhi chooses something, if Gandhi chooses something very, very big, if Gandhi chooses something very, very big, he will not succeed only. He will not succeed only. If Gandhi says, I have landed, British, you should leave. Deindustrialization should stop. Separate electorates remove this concept. Gandhi knew that if he does not open with a bang, he will always be remembered for his negatives, not his success. And that is the reason why Gandhi very categorically chose these three areas. Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad. Ironically, except for Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad, none of the Gandhian movements actually worked. Rowlatt was a failure, non-cooperation was a failure, CDM was a failure, and later 1940s, he has no relevance itself. He needed to show to the people that Gandhian method works. But if he chooses something very big, which the British would not listen to, then people would think that Gandhi is also useless. So Gandhi's outward appearance was very strategic. Gandhi's ideas were very strategic. And Gandhi's interventions were very strategic. Are you understanding the masterstroke of Gandhi? Timing, place, issue. All were such which were micro issues and could get a solution. Gandhi's South African experience is important because when he is in India, he does not need to go through moderate phase. He already has his own method and he was very clear what he needs to do. If Gandhi had not gone through South Africa, maybe he would have become a moderate himself. This is a very important point. Nobody understands the value of Gandhi's South African experience. Thereafter, let's talk about the three interventions and then we take a break, come back and start the next unit. The first place where Gandhi wanted to intervene was Champaran. Champaran issue, same as always, Indigo. Here what something called the Teen Kathia system was followed. Under which the concept was very simple. There are 20 katha in 1 bigha. So on 3 katha of 1 bigha, you had to grow indigo even though the prices were very, very, very low and synthetic dye was still there. As of 1917, synthetic dye was there. So 3/20th of land still had to be pushed into indigo and the planters were illegally taking dues, illegally beating up. This issue of Champaran was taken up by the Bihar Congress also. Nothing happened. So Rajkumar Shukla from the Bihar Congress itself went to Gandhi in Sabarmati and convinced him that you can get involved in Champaran. Champaran is something which you can do. Gandhi could see that there's a solution for this. So Champaran is what he chose. When he reached Champaran, he had reached there with a whole band of lawyers, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Annie Besant, Jinnah, everybody was there. There were also subcontractors, his people who will become later Gandhian leaders, people of the Bihar Congress itself. Rajendra Prasad, one of the most towering figures. J.B. Kriplani, Mahadev Desai, Rajkishore Prasad. We have Ramnami Prasad. Very, very important personalities. Mazrul Haq, later become part of Central Legislative Assembly. The fact was that these people will become the new subcontractors of Gandhi. They will become Gandhian leaders who will follow Gandhi. Now, as soon as Gandhi reached Champaran, the British knew that something was going to happen. So the DM of Champaran said to the Gandhi procession that if you enter Champaran, you will get arrested. I am introducing a law or a memorandum, an order that you will go into jail if you cross Champaran or enter into Champaran. Everybody went back. Bal Gangadhar Tilak went back, Annie Besant went back, Jinnah went back. But Gandhi said that, okay, you want to arrest me? He crossed over into Champaran. He will go to the DM and say that arrest me. The DM will now arrest Gandhi. But then what? Kept for 6 hours in the jail. Gandhi had done civil disobedience as soon as he reached. He said, okay, arrest me. Now Gandhi, after showing to every Indian leader who was a moderate or a Home Rule League ruler, a Home Rule League leader, that you agreed with the British, that is your problem. I don't agree. Now Gandhi goes and meets all the peasants. And to the peasants, he says, no rent. No rent, don't do anything, just don't pay rent, and do non-cooperation. Don't cooperate with the planters, don't do rent, don't give rent only. The peasant said, very good, we don't have to fight, we don't have to sit alone also, we'll just not give rent. And now the DM was pressurized after the planter said that the people are not paying rent. Everybody had to do it, everybody did it. Now Indigo Commission is established. Planter, DM, and now who will represent peasants? Gandhi himself, lawyer. He sits there and says that you do a whole inquiry of this Teen Khatia system and tell me if it is illegal or not. The DM now under pressure had to do it and he said that it's an illegal system. Now, he said that I want that the peasant should get compensation. But if Gandhi says 100% of all illegal dues should be paid back, would the planter ever agree or would be in a position to give it? No. If 2 crore rupees has been asked, he will not be able to do it. Gandhi says, no. I don't want for you to give 100%. 25%. 25% of whatever you have taken illegally, give it. That is an amount which you have right now. Now imagine the peasant who had been beaten up by the planter, who had been oppressed by the planter. A planter comes to the peasant, pays him money and goes. A looter had now given Indians money back. This was unprecedented. Gandhi became an instant hero amongst peasants because he had done something which nobody had done in 200 years. Make the British pay something. That one friend who does not pay for food has now given you money to order food. Unbelievable. This is the power of Gandhi, and now Gandhi showed that, see, I can make the British do things. Now he goes to, now comes the year 1918. In Kheda, in Gujarat, there's a crop failure. And there's a rule under the Indian revenue laws of the British that if yield falls 1/4 less than 1/4, then you get remission on rent. Remission on rent means that if you were producing 400 kgs and you produce 90 kgs, which is less than 1/4, then you don't need to pay rent to the government. This is governmental rule. However, the Kheda authorities were asking for rent and increasing the rent also after crop failure in Kheda. Now Gandhi gets again involved on the request of the local leaders. Gandhi again does the same thing. He says, okay, do you pay no rent? Let the government confiscate your land. He said everybody will not pay rent. Everybody should confiscate land. Now, if the government gets 1 lakh acre of land which has been confiscated and no rent is generated, what does the government do with this? Does the government want land? The government wants money. You auction to it. How much land will you auction? To whom will you auction? As soon as Gandhi got involved, confiscation started, no rent campaign started. Kheda authorities had no way of doing anything but giving back the land. Gandhi again succeeded in a micro issue. So from Champaran, where the Teen Katia system was followed and European planters were the reason for discontent, the issue of Teen Katia, which is 3/20th of land under Indigo, had been taken up by the Bihar Provincial Conference. It had been taken up by Gandhi after Rajkumar Shukla of Lucknow Congress went to him. Gandhi arrived with a whole band of lawyers, including Dr. Rajendra Prasad. And here Gandhi will very simply say that, do one thing, you want to arrest me, you arrest me. And he said after getting arrested, he had to be released. Gandhi then convinced the Rayat to not to do any violence, just not pay rent. At the Dorkhana plantation, that was the first time it started. Then it went to the Belwa plantation. And now the peasant realized that non-cooperation works because they don't have to do anything. Just don't pay rent. Passive resistance was now working, a new concept itself. Indigo Commission will be established. Gandhi will become the representative. 25% compensation will be decided. Something the British had never done in India. Thereafter, Kheda, crop failure, remission should have been provided after 1/4 is not given. And very simply, when Mohanlal Pandya and Shankarlal Parikh are going to get involved, Gujarat Sabha will request Gandhi to join. And Gandhi will join, asked to pay no rents. And very simply, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, R.S. Vyas and Narhari Parikh. Vallabhbhai Patel will become a Gandhian leader here. Peasants will refuse to pay rent. They will let the people take the confiscated property. Whoever was buying this confiscated property was socially boycotted. And that in turn led to the government refusing or stopping this confiscation and giving the land back to the peasants. Gandhi will call off the movement once that will be done. That's India. Again, that is a totally big misconception created by certain people on YouTube. Nothing like that. Now, Ahmedabad is an interesting case. But you can see Gandhi had now shown to the peasants his method works. And the peasants were now looking towards Gandhi with a lot of potential. Ahmedabad is a different concept. See, Ahmedabad is a city which was developed. It had a lot of mills, cotton mills, and most of these cotton mills were Indian mills because this was a city which came up during the 1860-65 boom of cotton. And because it always used to compete with Surat, they used to always give a lot of extra wage so that people can come, or the labor would not go to Surat. During the plague period and during the First World War, they used to give 50% plague bonus. That if your salary is 100 rupees, they used to give 150, so as to make sure that people don't leave the city because of plague. If they leave, there's no labor for the industries. But once the plague was gone and the First World War was still on, the mill owners said that we will remove this plague bonus. So the workers said that no, you cannot. The workers said we still want 50% bonus, and the mill owners were only ready for 20%. Now, a person called Ambalal Sarabhai, who's the father of the rocket man of India, Vikram Sarabhai, and her sister, Ansuya Sarabhai, will involve Gandhi. Mill owners were not ready to pay 50%. They were ready to pay 20%. Gandhi said to the workers, 50 is too much, 20 is too less to the mill owners. And he will come up with a figure of 35%. The 35% should be the bonus which should be given, that is just. Gandhi will try to convince the mill owners, but the mill owners will say, no, we will not give 35%. When in 1918, they will choose that they will open the mills without this 35% only or 20%. Gandhi will do the most annoying thing, which is sit on a fast unto death. That if you don't give 35%, I will kill myself by fasting. Now, if you are a mill owner, imagine the irritation which Gandhi would have produced. That if you can't let Gandhi die and he's making you do things by saying that I will kill myself. And therefore, what will happen is that 35% will be given when Gandhi will sit on a fast. And now he'll become the hero for workers also. Gandhi, through Champaran, Kheda, and Ahmedabad, had now created a certain image of his. He had shown that non-violence works. He shows non-cooperation works. This is non-cooperation. Kheda was again non-cooperation, and here it is fasting. The fact that was all three interventions were significant. He had shown that Gopal Krishna Guru Gokhale was right to not get associated with anybody. He traveled extensively, used religious idioms to mobilize the people because he knew people will listen to religion. Did not use history but religious morality. He was not interested in status quo and wanted to make the masses a part of the movement. He knew that India was plural, was very diverse, and therefore he wanted to unite India under one banner, but he had to prove to the people that his methods work. Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad were him trying to show that my method works. And therefore Swaraj was his goal. He had the goal of moderates, which is constitutional protest, but the means of the extremists with passiveness. And he will make sure that Hindus and Muslims come together because that unity was equally important. So with this, we finish this module. And when we come back, we will start the 1919-1922 journey, which is called the Rowlatt Satyagraha, Jallianwala Bagh non-cooperation. But before I do that, I have done since the morning the concept of revolutionary activities. I've done Gandhi, I've done Gandhian South African movement, 3 interventions. Anybody has any issue? Do you now understand the value and do you now understand the master strategist who Gandhi is? Gandhi and revolutionary activities. Do people, yes, Hindu Muslim come together, Khilafat issue. Are we clear about this? Because once I close, then we meet in part C. Are we clear about all of this? Yes? Perfect. Then I see you at 5:30. We'll take the story forward. Done? I hope that you found this interesting. Gandhian South African experience, not everybody talks about, but it is important in that way. Okay, great. So I'll see you in part C, 5:30. Don't be late.